All right, let's start with the big story that we're tracking on WION. And this hour, where Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be embarking on a 2-day visit to the island nation of Maldives in a short while from now. The focus, of course, is to strengthen ties with the Ibrahim Mohammed Solih government in Maldives. Now, this is Prime Minister Narendra Modi's first visit abroad after having taken charge as the Prime Minister of India for a second straight term. Now, it is 8 years since an Indian Prime Minister will be on a state visit to the Maldives. The last one was by the former Prime Minister Manmohan Singh in 2011. This, remember, we are talking about the state visit, although the Prime Minister was in Maldives last November, the time when Ibrahim Mohammed Solih had taken oath as the President of the country. The Prime Minister Modi will be arriving in Male at about 3:30 p.m. Indian Standard Time, which will be followed by his bilateral meeting with the Maldivian President. At about 7:15 p.m. in the evening, the Prime Minister will be addressing the Majlis, that is the Maldivian Parliament. Now, ahead of his departure, Narendra Modi said that his visit to Maldives will not only strengthen cordial ties with its maritime neighbour, but will be in line with India's neighbourhood first policy for strengthening defence partnership. Now, both Prime Minister Modi and also President Solih will jointly inaugurate 2 defence-related projects. One is, of course, the coastal surveillance radar system, which will help Male preserve its sovereignty, and many MOUs are also expected to be signed as a part of the visit by the Prime Minister, including the training of Maldivian civil servants, customs and white shipping as well. Now, interestingly, the Maldivian side is keen on having its own cricket team and a cricket stadium, for which it has asked India for assistance. Now, India has already given away cricket kits and is also expected to coach the Maldivian players. In fact, in the month of May, India had even sent a team of BCCI members. The Prime Minister will be ending his visit to the island nation tomorrow when he departs for a very short but an important visit to Sri Lanka in a stopover. All right, now for more on this, we are joined in by my colleague Siddhant Sibil, who is, of course, tracking the developments very closely for us. Good afternoon to you, Siddhant. Now, this is a very significant visit by the Indian Prime Minister. This, of course, is his first visit abroad after having taken charge as the Prime Minister. Give us a sense, considering as to how strategically important Maldives is, as to how significant a visit this one is likely to be.
Well, the increased influence of China in the Indian Ocean region makes Maldives and, of course, Sri Lanka very important for India, and the fact that the Indian Prime Minister has chosen both these countries as his first foreign visit after taking charge for the second time shows that these strong linkages New Delhi wants to build with Maldives and Sri Lanka. But talking about what is expected to happen, as you have already told our viewers, it's cricket, defence and connectivity that will be the focus. Connectivity, India is planning for a ferry service between Kochi to Maldives. Just a short while ago, the Maldivian Foreign Minister spoke to WION exclusively. We are the first Indian channel with whom the Foreign Minister has spoken on the visit, in which he said that his country is honoured with the fact that Prime Minister Narendra Modi has chosen his country as the first foreign destination after taking charge. But talking about a relationship, he said that India plays an important role in security and stability of the entire Indian Ocean region. That's an important line, because that shows that even Maldives knows the fact that New Delhi is keen to increase its influence in the backdrop of how China is trying to make inroads in the entire region. We know in the former presidency under Mr. Yamin, he basically junked the pro-India policy for a pro-Beijing policy, and we know how the
All right, Siddhant, I'll have to interrupt you there. Do stay on with this. What we have on air are live shots of Prime Minister Narendra Modi from the Kochi airport. He's just beginning to depart to Maldives. These are live shots as the Prime Minister has now boarded his flight, and he will now be going to Maldives. He's expected to reach Maldives by about 3:30 p.m. Indian Standard Time. Now, Siddhant, if I can come back to you on this, you were talking to us about the significance of this visit. Now, apart from Maldives, the Prime Minister is also expected to have a brief stopover in Sri Lanka, especially at very turbulent time in our island neighbour. Talk to us about how important will be the intelligence sharing, because India had in fact tipped off Sri Lanka about the terror attacks that took place earlier in April in the country.
Well, the visit by the Indian Prime Minister to Sri Lanka on Sunday will be short but a packed visit. He will be given full honours, and this visit is being called as a solidarity visit. In fact, when the Foreign Secretary of India briefed the media, he said that it's a message of solidarity with the people and the government of Sri Lanka. And WION also spoke to the Sri Lankan envoy here in Delhi on various topics, including the issue of terrorism. In fact, we all know now that when the terror attack took place last month in April 21st, that was the day when the gruesome terror attack took place, in which more than 250 people died. India had provided intelligence, but we know what happened in Sri Lanka. So we did ask about the issue of terrorism, and the envoy said that terror is an issue which is not an isolated issue, and both the country need each other's cooperation when it comes to the entire issue of terrorism. And of course, the growing influence of, it seems, Islamic State, because this is the deadliest attack by Islamic State outside its zone of influence. It's in South Asia, that too in Sri Lanka. We know a lot of people have joined joined for the Islamic State. They have gone to Syria to join the Islamic State, and most of these people are from Sri Lanka and Maldives and of course south of India. So that is what brings together all these three countries, whether it's Sri Lanka, Maldives or India, and that is why terror remains the top concern. In fact, when the Prime Minister will be reaching there, he will be meeting with the top leadership, and terror will be the top agenda. In fact, the Sri Lankan president was here in India last week for the overtaking ceremony of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, when the BIMSTEC leadership were called for the overtaking ceremony. And in the bilateral, one of the key issues that was discussed between the Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi and the Sri Lankan president was the issue of terrorism.